3, 2, 1.
Thank you. Oh, yes, we are all in the same studio. Only happens very rarely for the great Club Prairie Fire team, but it is wonderful. And so as I do this intro, they are glaring at my inability to read. Just remember that. G'day and welcome to Club Prairie Fire, Season 9, Episode 3, the home of tequila, Tabasco and the Duckworth Lewis Stern System. This episode I'm calling Four Blokes Finally Get to Sit in the Same Room and Have a Chat.
And a dog.
And a dog.
And a dog, sorry, yes.
Pip the dog.
Pip the dog. You can't see. Oh, you can see
on the
Pip on
wide.
the wide. There you go. The studio's dog. Lovely dog that it is. What sort of dog is it, Jock?
Border Collie.
Border Collie. There we go. Fantastic. Welcome, Pip, to the team. Hope you like tequila. All right. Aussies and Indians. It is just 7 sleeps until Test Match Christmas. 2 of the biggest sides packed from 1 to 11 with global superstars who will duke it out over a grueling 5-test series. Each contest up to 5 taxing days of mental and physical battles that in the end will leave its combatants thoroughly rooted. English folk and Kiwis. For you, it's just 14 days until your 2 sides get into a 22-yard white kit wrestle for 3 epic test matches, testing the wits and the character of Bazballians and the Giant Slayers. As Henry Blomfield once said, one-day cricket is an exhibition, test cricket is an examination. And he is so right. So, cricket lovers, pop on your rubber gloves, because these examinations are going to be full body.
Who's Henry Blomfield?
I think you put them in there.
Who's Henry Blomfield?
Henry Blofeld.
Blofeld, maybe?
Blowers. Bloomers.
I've actually got the internet. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
It's a silent M, is it?
Henry.
Hey, we might as well give Blummers his new book. He's got a book coming out at
Has he?
Christmas, Blummers, yeah. So if anyone
Henry
wants to read
Blofeld.
something, that'll be very amusing.
Hang on.
Interesting fact about him.
Yeah.
I think he slept in my bed.
With your missus.
No, the bed I grew up in at my mum and dad's.
Really?
He visited my parents' place years ago, and I'm quite certain he chose not the spare room. He chose the room of AC Gilchrist.
They're like posters still up. He's falling asleep.
Is the M silent, or have I just gone to a really
You've just
crappy
created
website?
a new name. You've just
made it up. It's
completely
Henry
made it up.
Blofeld, always
Henry
has been.
Blofeld. No M anywhere.
I blame the website. Although there is a 21-year-old Henry Blomfield that is a private equity banker. Have you heard that quote before? Or?
Well, but Blowers, when he sends me quite a few messages, and he always sends off in his messages pip pip.
Oh, and you do on. Is
Yeah,
that-
on. And he goes pip pip.
The dog just jumped when you said
That's her
that.
name.
Pip pip pip.
Sorry, Pip.
Well, that's Blowers Pip.
Now, very, very good. I have to introduce you guys. You actually weren't allowed to talk yet. You broke podcast protocol. From left to right, an honorary Aussie. It is the former England skipper, Mr. Michael Vaughan. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Lovely studio.
Thank
Like
you for
it.
being here. A man who yesterday celebrated his birthday with his favourite thing to do, which, what was it, Gilly?
2.5 hours of rain, Phil, as the rain poured at the Gabba. And then when the 7-over game started, I didn't even get to call one ball because we had Usman Khawaja, David Warner and Mark Howard there.
Could you at least have a drink in the background and celebrate your couple of party pies or something? Anything?
I had my sausage roll
Okay.
for dinner.
Paul.
No, but it was a beautiful birthday, full of lots of lovely messages, and I did find a stash of tequila later in the evening.
Very
The
good.
sausage rolls in Brisbane, standard.
Well, you trying to fight your way
Mate.
back with Brisbane, are you?
I'm just trying to see. We're going there in a few weeks for the test match.
Yeah.
Just want to see if the sausage rolls are any good.
Yeah, pretty rego.
Yeah. Paul.
Nothing wrong, nothing brilliant.
Any blowback from you saying Brisbane's, what was the quote you used?
Shithole.
Shit,
I didn't
yeah.
want to say it. I love Brisbane.
Yeah.
I think it's a great
Yeah.
town. Welcome, producer Ollie. Sounds like he's got something right off the bat.
Well, there was a bit of blowback on socials, actually, yeah.
Motive word, that.
Yeah, well, firstly, I want to say the comments about the keeper's gone unbelievably well. Of all your ideas, that has had unanimous support, actually, for swapping.
I wouldn't say unanimous.
Yeah.
I did see Darren Lehman
Yeah.
said, "Have you been on the tequila?"
Yeah. Sorry, from non-celebs,
Yeah.
it's been unanimous.
Yeah.
But we had CGJ Anderson on YouTube comment, Vaughany averaged 16.5 in test at the Gabba. No wonder he doesn't want to talk about Brisbane.
and I dropped 3 catches
Is that what's behind it?
on the first day.
Tough high ball.
Yeah.
Late in the day.
I think you go back to the first ball of that series.
Oh, yeah.
Not too sure who was bowling it because Caddick bowled the second. Would it have been Hoggard? Might have been Hoggard. I think Haydos, who's coming on, I think he faced the first ball.
Oh, very good.
Or maybe just, I'm not too sure. Anyway,
Two.
it was a trickler to me at Gully. I don't know why I was at Gully.
Yeah.
And I let it through my legs.
First ball, and they got through for a single, didn't
first
they?
ball of the Ashes, yeah. Talk about setting the tone.
Well, interestingly enough, it probably wasn't Haydos, because I read last night that it was always JL that faced the
It was probably
first
JL.
ball.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
probably a little edge.
Yeah,
I wanted to ask Haydos about that, because did you, when you were opening with him in the ODIs,
we alternated.
you alternated?
Yeah.
So was that a JL thing that said, give me the first ball?
Yeah, JL,
Yeah.
JL facing Caddick.
I think
Was Caddick first ball, was he?
Caddick, yeah, we first name. Caddick and Hoggard did open.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
0-2. There you go.
Well, that is right, folks. We have a superstar guest joining us, Matthew Hayden, a man that opened the batting in Tests for Australia over 100 times. Good time to ask him some questions about Nathan McSweeney, who is about to... What do you got here, Gilly? What have you found?
I just was interested as Ollie pulled the scorecard up from that Test match of 2002-3.
Tough deck. Hayden
How many-
197, Ponting 123.
I just thought, how many did I get again in that game? Second ball globe.
Who got you out?
Hoggy, I reckon, LBW.
No, White. Craig.
Craig
Chalky White. He could skid him down, the Chalkster.
Wow. And then Vaughany 33 caught Gilchrist in the first innings.
Yeah, second was LBW. It wasn't out.
60
out.
not out for Gilly in the second innings. Also, just on our special, and then a second ball globe in the second innings for Vaughany.
Not out.
The Zero Club. Hey,
Yeah, not out. LBW.
Yeah,
McGrath.
McGrath.
Yeah, not out. Go miles over the top.
So, DRS, if it existed...
Saved me, yeah. That'd have got 100.
Well, hey,
I think
you
I
are-
do remember that, actually, yeah.
Yeah,
It was real high.
It was.
we are
right.
Jeez, we
learning
screamed
why
loud.
you hate the Gabba and why you hate Brisbane. You got ripped off.
I like you would have got 100. England were all out for 79.
Did we make 79 in the second innings?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, top score of 40 from
I do remember
Butcher,
getting
and then
rather
Craig
pissed
White
after that
30.
game.
Did McGrath get him?
Yes, with McGrath 4, Warren 3, Gillespie 1. That's only 8. Simon Jones, absent, hurt.
Oh, he's
What did we lose by?
It was actually closer than it sounds, 384.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Also,
you take away the first day where they scored 384.
yeah,
We were quite competitive then.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely you were.
You didn't, when you called Brisbane a shithole, you didn't explain any of this, but it makes perfect sense.
I think you'll find that Shane Bond got me out first ball in a one-day game as well. The first ball of the game.
Well,
And I ripped my hamstring.
Oh, God.
we
Out
might
of
have,
Gabba.
hopefully, fingers crossed. So he's just messaged saying he's jumping on now. We might have a guess that you might need to explain your opinion on Brisbane too.
Yeah, it's purely cricketing. I actually think it's quite a nice town. There's like most places, a few odd people there, but you know, but most places have odd people.
It's true.
Don't
We actually
they?
had
There's
a
not
comment.
too many down the Cooge, let me tell you.
We had a comment, which is a bizarre sort of psychicness from Motion Sickness 1903 on YouTube. Now, last
These names.
weird name, yeah. Last week you were saying how you're always taller in person. Looking forward to seeing them. You said it again today. A comment the day we released it. Actually, Gilly, most of your life we have seen you next to Haydos, who's a certified giant, and hence underrating your height. How
Yes.
bizarre that they knew.
And I'm squatting down a lot too.
Hey, just
Yeah.
going off grid a bit, did you see Gary Barlow's son?
I have the memes. Are
Take that lead
perfect.
singer.
Yeah, why, what's, is he really tall?
Maybe the tallest human in the world.
Gary's a small, slight little
Smallish
fella,
chap,
isn't he?
yeah, but he's
So what are you saying?
Honestly, I'm not saying anything.
With a Harlem,
That's-
Look at the size of his son.
with a Harlem
he's
Globetrotters
serious.
in town around then, is that?
And
Wow.
obviously now the internet has just been broken by that with
Yeah.
things they're sharing. You know, they're sharing a mega screen in a stadium going Gary Barlow's son watching television. And it's all of that side of things.
So how big is he? What's
6'9"?
Sorry, Jocko, I think Pip's biting me.
with that?
Nipping me on the leg. Is that normal?
No, you've got rips in your jeans.
Yeah,
so.
I know. I put my toes in the jeans this morning.
Were you rubbing ham on your legs again, or?
How tall is he? And what's his name, Gary's?
He's not.
Another tall chap. Donald Trump's son Barron seems to be getting a lot of attention. He's a tall chap as well, isn't he?
He's actually not that tall. He's only 6'2", Daniel Barlow, but Gary's just tiny. That's what that
5 foot
picture
two.
does.
Six
It.
foot.
He's not.
He's Vaughany's 6'2". You'd
Yeah.
be 6'2".
What's
wouldn't you?
how small's
6'1".
Gary Barlow then?
Gary Barlow's tiny. He's
4'8".
actually.
Hang on.
I'm just telling you what I'm.
Do you
reading
want-
here.
Are you okay with the dog, Gilly, or do you
Yeah,
want?
no, I'm all good.
He's chasing reflecting.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
jumping at shadows.
Gary Barlow's 5'7".
Ah, well, that's
5'7".
yeah.
That is small.
Okay. Sorry, that is really small.
Yeah.
Okay, we are a cricket show. I've just read it here. Yes, cricket show. Are you going to wait for Haydos to do your Cato?
We'll wait for Haydos for. Is he there? He's on the line. Oh no, yeah, we will for him to bring that in because we also
Bring him in. Ooh, careful about the
Reckon he's got a hat on. He'll always have a hat on. Look at the big doss.
Looking fresh.
The Valley. The Valley hat on.
No, you're on mute, bud.
Quick change of shirt.
Turn yourself up, Haydos.
Here we go. Whoa. Hang on.
Hey, morning, mate.
All right, Doss.
Yeah, man, good. You?
Yeah, good, mate. Like the cap. Valley.
We like it, mate?
Yeah, it's good. I thought you'd have had a Crocodile Dundee hat on and a big shark in your hands for us.
Yeah, well, mate, these things happen, but it's, I've got no answer to that, Vaughany. I thought I'd try and look cool. Isn't that what radio junkies do?
Yeah, you do look very, Dossie. How are you, mate? You look very, very radio, actually. Yeah, morning radio.
The black spectacles.
Are they new, that new edition?
Nah, I've had them for a while, eh? I find it really hard to read these days, I've got to say.
Read in general?
Yeah, just read. Just not too bad, like long distance, but short distance, gosh, my eyes hurt. If I'm tying fishing knots, it's an impossibility.
Yeah.
It's just a give up.
What? How'd your personal training session go this morning that delayed you a fraction?
Mate, I'm fucking ripped. Don't worry about that.
No doubt about that. That shirt,
Can you-
that one
can
shirt
you
that you
tell
had
it?
when... Hey, yeah, no,
Hey,
that's...
tell the gals are like just coming on like Ian Healy's.
Yeah, but that shirt that you were given when you were Pakistan batting coach,
Ooh,
you
like
still...
tight,
That'll
doesn't
fit
it?
you now, because it certainly didn't when you were fucking wearing it as their coach.
I had 5XL I ordered. Clearly they didn't make the chassis that Inzamam Al Haq had because I would have thought the old Sagaloo would have been half a chance of fitting into one of his gears. They just needed to remake the model and it would have been good to go.
Haydos, welcome to Club Prairie Fire. I don't know how much of this you've seen. We've just spent the last 10 minutes talking
Heaps
about...
of your bullshit, yeah.
Last 10 minutes was talking about how small Gary Barlow is. So definitely a cricket podcast. The other thing that we've discussed again this morning is Vaughany's opinion on Brisbane. Now, being a proud Queenslander that you are, do you want to... Is Haydos aware of your opinion of Brisbane?
Well, I did, Haydos. I described it as a shithole, and it's because Ollie and the guy we've gone through why. My obviously Ashes debut against you guys didn't go quite so well. We lost by 384 on the back of Nasser decided to have a nice bowl on that lovely day in Brisbane. And then I got out for 0 second innings. I ripped a hamstring in a one-day series. In another one-day game, I was out first ball of the game to Shane Bond. So I actually like the town. But it's the cricket inside of Brisbane that I think's a shithole.
Could be just your cricket by the sound of it. Mate, it must be a bit of a pandemic inside that change room because KP blatantly on air just gives it a massive thumbs down. He loves criticising Queensland in general, but in particular Brisbane.
Yeah.
So, as Steve Wall once said to us in 2001, is your attitude contagious? And if so, is yours worth captaining? So, is yours worth catching? And so, Vaughany, it sounds like as a leader, you weren't at that stage. I mean, Nasser was terrific for Australian cricket, I've got to say. He was one of the best. But it sounded as if his attitude was solidly transferred onto you, and then you transferred that onto KP. So it's with great blessings that we decide to play the first test up until this more recently against tourists at the Brisbane, because you and about 5 other nations think exactly the same thing of Brizzy.
Yeah, I'm glad you used the word catching because I did drop 3 on that first day in 202 as well.
You're always safe for a few, Vaughany. It's good.
What did you say Haydos got in that particular test match?
He struggled his way to 197. Cato got in with a good one late on. And then we were just saying Gilly got a second ball duck on that road as well. So it was a good test match.
That's all right.
Yeah, good toss, I thought. That was an important little posturing move there by the English skipper.
Yeah, we
You
got
know, just
we got unlucky,
first-
Haydos.
So Haydos got a ton in the second innings as well.
Yeah.
Sounds like Haydos likes
Why
Brisbane.
not? Get the naan bread out against that.
Yeah.
Mop up some.
Haydos,
No,
just
talking naan bread, you just have to mention Chalky White there because he was naan bread in the second inning.
Hey, he's up on Chalky White. He was the one that knocked me over in the first kick for a globe.
Mate, he was just using you to get to me, Gilly. That's all I can say on that.
Haydos, I've always wanted to ask you this. Of all the, you did well against England on a regular basis and pretty much bullied us to many hundreds. Of all the England bowlers that you faced, which was the one that you loved climbing into the most?
Chalky, I reckon, was pretty good. Slow trajectory, just especially on the sort of fast bouncy tracks. But I don't know, Vaughany. I always have really mixed feelings about England because you say that I was successful against England, but you know when you look at my away record against England, and maybe just it was sort of overlooked because you know apart from your winning era in 05. We had great success during that time, sort of on the back of '89 series, and then it just there was this attitude that Australia could just dominate in England, and that's generally what happened. But I got to say, mate, I found it a really tricky venue to play, and you know that you really challenged my ego, and you really worked hard at keeping me out of play, and I didn't like that. And then it kind of was really up until my last test where the Ashes was kind of running away from us. As you know, that was a spectacular test for England, but a really shocking test for us in 05 on that Oval Test match. I'll never forget Vaughany, you know, dropping that catch off KP and, you know, the rest could have been or might have been history. But, yeah, my overall sort of sense of playing in England was that I way underachieved, even though I really felt like I had great county seasons there, like year in, year out. I just really enjoyed playing cricket there. But I never was able to kind of capture that form on a personal level in England. And that's probably the only regret or disappointment that I have in my career because I feel like most of the other venues, and as a team, obviously we did well, but at most of the other venues, I felt like I'd kind of dominated in or certainly mastered to a degree in.
Those county days, Haydos, with you at Northants, and you know we had Buffer down at obviously at Yorkshire. We had Bevo.
Yeah.
There were so many players. Would you recommend? So Nathan McSweeney will come on to him opening the batting, obviously for Australia against India next week. Would you recommend the modern young player to get over and play county cricket?
Oh, mate, absolutely. Absolutely. It was the greatest finishing school ever for our era, and in particular to learn the nuances of the long form game and also just integrate with a culture and a community that we're of blood. I mean, there's not too many parts of England that you tour around and you don't feel within yourself that you're kind of amongst friends and family. And that's right across pretty much, you know, all of the sort of Scotland, Ireland, England. We just feel very at home there. But just purely on weight of runs, like you go back to those times, you had also players like Stewie Law, Brad Hodge, Buff, as you mentioned. You had every Australian cricketer that probably averaged mid-40s to mid-50s in first-class cricket going over and playing in the county competition. And I'm pretty sure I wasn't the only one, but, you know, you'd get on the old teletext and you'd look through the stats of the county championship, you know, batting profiles, and inevitably you'd see those top 10 names almost to a man being Australian. And so you realise there you just had to be on your toes. There was a competition within a competition as we all kind of landed on those shores and integrated into those various clubs, all of which I'm certain you'll hear, Vaughany, to a man, they'll go, they were the greatest cricket days of my life. And I'll even go back a step. You know, when I took over from Mark Taylor at Greenmount Cricket Club, you know, in Berry, like those days, and I had a terrific young sub-pro called Chris Holding that was a great cricketer over here, and we just tore up Berry. It was so much fun. Met friends of a lifetime, including the two Neville boys. At that point in time, you know, you were looking at a Man United football club that had just formed its academy system, and we didn't even know how good they were. You had big Neville, you know, that was in control of the football club. We'd go down to his joint to have Sunday roasts with the family, and they were probably one of the few families that had the integrated desktop, whatever it was, Sky it might have been probably, where you could watch every football code, every cricket, every competition, golf tournament on the planet in those days. So, I mean, it was just brilliant. You know, the wicket keeper, you know, would still have the durry in his mouth, and he'd be the one at the bar, you know, telling stories about the day and reliving, going through the highlights package, even though there wasn't any. I just think those, when you look at a rounded education, and, you know, someone like a Nathan McSweeney or any one of the youngsters that are now under the spotlight, Jake Fraser McGurk, rather than going off and playing high-level, high-performance T20 tournaments, gee, it was good to get back in and play long format game, short format game, but just cricket every day of the week. It was magic.
Clearly, Haydos, you didn't impart any of your footballing or soccer skills onto the Neville boys. Otherwise, they wouldn't have progressed the way they might have. But what about the big discussion point, mate, leading into this test with McSweeney being picked to open? Any red flags, green flags there for you? But what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, plenty of green flags. You know, firstly, well organised. Contributed at, you know, any level of cricket that he's played at. Potentially, you know, got that leadership ability. As you know, Gil, when you're selecting sides or you're sitting down, you know, reviewing a squad, you're not just looking at the man, the talent, from a runs point of view. You're looking at them in terms of, well, what are they contributing in the field? You know, do they rate amongst the good tourists, bad tourists, as a very simple analogy. There's been plenty of people that have fallen on the sword of being a BT rather than a GT. You were a very good GT, actually, Gilly, I have to say.
Well, thank you.
But generally, the red flags are the obvious flags. They're a red flag maybe to our system rather than to our man. The fact is that, you know, when you look at Gilly, our era, Vaughany, our era, and you look at the Australian, you mentioned some of those names before, but you had Cox, you had Matthew Elliott, you had Slats, myself, and you could just keep going on, right? Martin Love, for example, Stuart Law, Buff, Bevo, there were so many names, but there was also a very succinct group of names that batted inside those positions of 1 and 2. And I'll cast our minds back to one who got the nod as opposed to some of those other great names, and that was Justin Langer. And JL spent, you know, a fair bit of his formative years not opening the batting. You know, so ultimately, I just think the system also should allow for, out of respect to the system, it should allow for the progression of names that sit as an opening partnership. And we've got plenty again, but the trouble is, of those names, who's really putting their hands up? And I guess, you know, those selectors, I would imagine, would be racking their brains after that Australia A series, because, again, there was no one that really, like, they were hoping someone would go, bang, I'm going to have 150, 200, you know, reel off huge numbers, but no one actually did that. So we're a bit, I guess the red flags are where's our cutoff point in terms of performance? You know, it used to be nowadays sort of mid-50s. Now it's sort of like 40. And as you know, when you progress up into those higher levels of cricket, it's not like the conditions don't necessarily get easier, especially at the start of the summer. I'll be really surprised if there's not plenty of grass on the wicket in Perth. Adelaide is a lottery under lights. I mean, goodness me, thank goodness we didn't play that. You know, blazing different colour balls on real grassy drop-in wicket. So, you know, it's going to be really challenging. But I don't have any major red flags against Nathan McSweeney.
Yep.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Are you happy with
it? Covered it off.
Covered
Nicely.
everything. Beautiful. Thank you, Haydos. I like every Aussie cricket fan loves seeing a stoush in the media between two ex-greats, and there's a good one going on at the moment. An ex-teammate of yours,
Little Chad
Haydos,
King's firing up.
and Gilly. Ricky Ponting versus Gambhir currently. Gambhir, he's hit out at Ricky Ponting after the former Aussie batsman questioned the longer-term form of the two senior batsmen. He asked, what does Ponting have to do with Indian cricket? So let's get a take on that first and foremost. Is Ricky allowed to have an opinion on Indian cricket? Vaughany is...
I just find, I mean, I'm going to like Gabba Gambhir as coach because he's spicy. I think he's going to have to learn within the media that you sometimes, in the leadership role that he is, play the game a little bit. You know, not just bite at every comment, because, by the way, we're all going to be commenting about his team very shortly. And I never thought the rule of punditry that you could only have a comment on the team that you played for. If that's the rule of punditry, well, Haydos, you spend half your life in India. That's your job gone. I've got to get on a plane and get back to Manchester tomorrow morning. So I don't quite agree with Gautam, but I do like a bit of spice. And I like the fact that I think he's going to be very prickety. And I think over the course of the next few weeks, I don't think it's going to be easy for his team. I don't think they're going to win every game. They're going to lose games, and it's going to be very interesting to see how he copes with that negative side of his team performance.
Well, let me now pose this one to you, Haydos and Gilly. Ponting's come back. He's replied. He said, I was surprised to read the reaction, but knowing the coach, Gautam Gambhir, he's quite a prickly character. So I'm not surprised it was him who said something back. Is Ricky well within his right there? Is
prickly different to prickety?
Yeah, I
don't know. What did I say? Prickety.
I think
Did I just create a
rhymes
word?
with crickety.
Is that a new word I've created?
Yes,
there?
prickly within the world of cricket.
That is good.
Prickety. That's great.
There is one common part of both those words, and it might be hidden the point. But I don't know. Hey, look, punter can comment on whatever he wants. I think he's earned the right to have an opinion on most aspects of cricket. He seems to be the go-to man around the world for any aspect. I love this stoush.
Yeah.
This is get the popcorn stuff out for the rest of the summer.
Haydos?
Yeah, look, I think the boys have said it pretty well. I mean, we're paid to make an opinion and to make a comment and make a call on the game that we love and that we know. And what we do know is that both the Australian cricket team and the Indian cricket team haven't played a lot of long-form cricket, and the reality is that's going to make the competition really close. I think, and Gilly, I don't know about you, but I certainly felt this towards the end of my career, that the lure of the boundary, it's like a drug. You know, when you think about Test cricket and you think about all the names that GG and punter are squabbling over, they have been masters of long format cricket, and what they've done really well, and this is what long form cricket needs, is that the ability to be able to leave the ball and know where your off stump is versus the ability to be able to clear your front leg and swing like a bastard to score boundaries. And you know, as you get
I reckon
older,
there was one Boxing Day Test match where you did both those in the first session on Boxing Day and peeled off 100.
Yeah, got lucky, Gil. As we all did at times. But that was always quite, that's the challenge, right? Like when you come to the longer format, and some of our senior players, same as Marnus Labuschagne, it's exactly the same. You know, you have to be a boxer that has the ability to be able to go over 15 rounds, you know, versus 1 or 2 rounds. And as the games get and the scheduling gets closer together, you know, what we're seeing is the evolution of shorter test matches, more results, probably less averages, higher strike rates. All of those factors come into the evolution of test match cricket. And look, I don't really have an objection to it because I think it's creating, and something that we really wanted to do as players as well, Gil, just be entertaining and to be up for the fight, up for the challenge, and try and create a code of cricket that was enjoyable to watch and certainly very enjoyable to play.
Well, to that point, I agree. I think I have no drama with it, and I think McSweeney will be really suited to that role. But he may not get the big score. He might fail. That's the introduction to Test cricket that most generally have. Not too many come in there and nail it. But to that point about, and so that if that then entails a game to go to day 5, the best feeling, to your point, Haydos, about enjoyment, and Vaughany, you feel the same, I'm sure. Day 5, late. If you're in the hunt for a win, there is no better feeling in cricket. Day 5, you've spent 5 days, you've spent 4 days pre that, training, warm-ups, planning, preparing. So you've spent the best part of 10 days of your life with a group of mates, plotting and then executing. And if you pull off a win day 5 in a test match, and you're out in the field in particular, it is cricketing heaven. And then the next hours after that only make it better. But it's a really good point.
Did you have many of those, though, your Australian cricket side?
I mean, they're pretty good when you batter a team in 2.5 days as well.
I was about to go from Vaughany's stories. I don't think he's going to agree.
Hold on day 3 if you win.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, Haydos, just on that, the entertainment factor, come on, give us your opinion on the greatest thing that's happened to cricket ever in baseball. I get a sense that you'd be a fantastic arrival into the basketball dressing room.
Yeah, no, I love it, certainly. And look, it's going to have its criticism for sure, because when you play that format and that particular sort of style of play, all you're doing is going, well, my risk was here, when you're more of a conservative player versus it's just off the Richter scale. I mean, I just love the way Stokes goes about his whole business. And I've always loved Brendan McCullum. I would imagine that we've all got jobs because of Brendan McCullum and just the way that he launched into the IPL, with that incredible century. I actually really enjoyed the way, the bloke sitting to the left of you, Vaughany, and also Baz played the game. They played it fearlessly. They played it with great gusto. And they just had this, it was like you didn't really care whether you were going to get out. And look, I didn't often try that as an opening batsman, I've got to say, even though I felt like I wanted to be more explosive. There was just too much risk thinking like that. But I certainly admired, those that had the courage. And even sometimes when I did try it, on occasions, as Gilly mentioned one of them before, that freedom creates this incredible energy that allows you to do things that you never thought was possible, which surely is the best feeling in life, right? So I mean, I really enjoy the way Stokes goes about his operations, Vaughany. He's the very best of Test match cricket at the moment, and I fear, like, as an Australian side, especially now with Davey Warner out of the team, we are going to regress into something that's quite a subdued unit. When you think of the strike rates and our batting lineup now, and the fact that we've now got even a debutant in the side, where's our go forward coming? Unless it's, coming from a Marsh, right up front. There's just not really that sort of aggressive batting that we're so used to seeing for generations now. When you think about it.
Haydos, if we played baseball in our time, would you have resorted to the extended handle mongoose from ball 1?
Yeah, I may. I mean, it's not like you're defending, is it? You just, mate. And when you really think about it, it's not like you're not hitting the ball somewhere near the middle of the bat if you're attacking either. Yeah. So, yeah, definitely would have been something I would have considered, I reckon, yeah.
What held the extended handle goose back? Like, it didn't really catch on.
Fear. Mate, it's just purely fear. Like, I think cricketers, we're a very superstitious bunch and we love our sort of ducks in a row. When it's all said and done, this generation now is so much different. But I think generally speaking, when you look down at the back of the bat and you see half a bat, that's in your mind something that you just go, well, is that possible? But I mean, I proved that it was possible. That's no doubt about it. And actually, and you know this, Gilly, when in 2007 when I was range hitting with Bubba Gump, our baseball coach, and I was using his baseball bat.
Mike Young.
Mike Young. Yeah. I was using his baseball bat, hitting round on round, and the balls were going 20 metres further. I mean, that was the sort of conception of the idea. So when Mongoose actually presented the idea, I wasn't really thinking, well, it can't work because I've now got less surface area, bigger hitting zones, longer leverage. I didn't hold the bat up the top of the handle like you did, Gilts.
Yeah, so just for clarity, for those that don't know, Haydos used to sort of finish your net and just range hitting, as they say, just trying to just find your distance, just clear the rope, feel a bit of freedom in your swing, and do it with a baseball bat. And send them.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Hey, that's just, I mean, you're absolutely right about being, the game being set in its ways and no one's really willing to change. I came up with an idea last week and it's gone down rather well on socials. And with the world of cricket now, with so many wicket-keeper batters, Haydos, my belief is that why does Test match cricket just need one keeper?
Yeah, because, I heard you talking about this.
Are you the bloke that listens?
Yeah,
you're the listener.
I'll tell you what, your partner in crime to the left of you there gave it the hell red card, though, didn't he? He didn't actually play it sort of non-politically, but he was like, no, I don't think I would have.
I said it's a load of shit. That's what I said.
It's gathering a little bit of legs, Haydos. I mean, New Zealand have got 3 or 4. England have got about 45 wicket-keeper batters.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think any innovation can be a great innovation. To me, it's not even about how it works. It's how it creates attention that brings life to our game. I mean, we're kind of half pregnant on the whole squad mentality as well. I mean, I would really like to see the game of cricket played with, even up to 20 players, especially the short versions of the game. Test match cricket, I think you can just leave alone, but you can play a full squad.
20 in a team?
Huh?
Just 20 names in a team, 19, so they all can play.
19 wickets to win.
You're playing a squad. You're playing a squad of players, whatever that looks like for you. So you roll out your IPL roster, and you've got every member available at any given point in 20 overs.
That's good.
Like baseball.
Right, so you don't know the batting lineup. You see what the wicket that happens, and you go, righto, Steve, you're in. Is that what you mean? Like,
the problem with that, Haydos, is a few of us used to like a few sherbets the night before once you've been told you're not playing. You can't get away with that anymore.
Like those that are just genuine drinks holders, aren't they? That just can't get an opportunity to really get amongst the tour yet. You're on notice. Well, you're getting paid enough. Get out there.
Yeah, get out there. Baseball style. I like it.
So just so we know, Haydos, are you endorsing Michael Vaughan's wicket-keeper concept, or are you on the Gilchrist boat, which is it's a load of shit?
No, I'm with Vaughany.
Hey, another one.
Yeah, that'll be the last time you ever hear that.
I think you're going to have a wicket-keeper.
I honestly just feel like we still have not just 1%ers that we've potentially got. When you look at cricket as opposed to other sporting codes, like when you look at AFL, I mean, gosh, their athletic ability, and they talk about 1%ers, I mean, they are just like gaps in the range of that. So small. But in cricket, there's so much work to do because we are a traditional sport. There's so much work to do that which we haven't even discovered or even thought about yet. As the game evolves and as it starts to take flight, what are the skills, for example, when you look at a Bazball, that Bazballs and their team don't have? What are they missing to make that particular strategy work? Because the strategy's not right.
A forward defence and maybe leave a couple.
Maybe.
Hang on.
Have.
Sorry. I'm just trying to process what you just said, that you're supporting Vaughany and not me on this one. So we had, you have a bowler, you have a wicket keeper, and then there's obviously yourself at first slip, say keeping a Vaughany, which is was your elite position. You were skilled up at it and excellent at it. Why did none of the other 8 guys ever go to first slip off Vaughany? Why did you stand there all day? That was your expertise.
Well, I don't know, Gil. I mean, I suppose the thing is it was a natural progression, wasn't it? And again, it was based on tradition, really. I mean, you had Punter that was a master at bat pad on the offside. You had Justin that mastered leg side bat pad.
Oh, I don't think he was a master. He was just a little fucker that we put in there.
Yes, but it was traditional. Before that, it was Mark Waugh. So when Mark retired, then, you took your place. Before Mark Waugh, it was Mark Taylor. Like, you could go back through time. Decisions are made purely on tradition rather than necessarily on skill sets.
Yeah, right.
And I think there would have been, other people. Like Punter could have well done first slip. He could have, in fact, done it probably better than me. So, I guess it's just challenging, just having the courage to challenge inside a playing group or a coaching fraternity to look at the game differently and to subscribe to the theory that if it isn't broken, break it. I mean, that's how you get better. That's how you build resilience. That's how you build confidence. The trouble is, what happens is that you tend to go back and forward amongst, that strategy we discussed but didn't work, and then you go back to it. You don't have the resilience to keep trying what that would look like. And then the moment that it fails, then you get all the naysayers that are coming into that group. And it's amazing baseball actually has lasted this long when you think about the traditions of English culture and cricket. That's why I think I love it more than anything. And that's why I love new and innovative ideas, because we don't have many as cricketers. When you look at the advancement of the cricket gear, I mean, we've still got, even though we say, the bats are getting massive, you have a look at a golf club. I mean, the club heads are about that big.
Yeah.
Tennis rackets. I mean, you have a look at the way that that's evolved. We all would have owned bamboo things that were about the size of a ping pong bat. Now they're massive. So I really believe that we need more innovation in the game. And I'm not saying just change for change's sake, but at least have a go at thinking about what it looks like.
Yeah.
Well, Haydos, to introduce myself, I sort of check that everything we're saying is right, and I get to pull the numbers up and just keep the show ticking along, really, in that regard. So, when you talk about your England record, I pulled it up, and I won't comment on it.
No, you were right. Yeah. You averaged 30 odd in England.
Yeah, one and a little bit less than Gilly. Then I went to see. We have a theory, another Vaughany theory. You're only a great if you get a ton in Scarborough. You
on a Tuesday night on a wet sticky dog.
You didn't, but you have got the 10th greatest ever Northamptonshire innings, according to Northants Cricket Club. 164 against Essex at Northampton in 2000.
What made that so good?
They needed 2 bonus points for promotion. Apparently, it was going to be called off because the pitch wasn't good enough, and the Australian's innings lasted nearly 6 hours, made nonsense of that pitch report. He pointedly raised his bat to the panel, reached 50, 100. The service was exonerated, and the county went up.
Oh,
that is a good.
Got Doc Martin boots for life.
But the best bit
basically, just what it doesn't say there is that we were cheating hounds and doctored the wicket. we had Brownie, and we had a young Monty Panesar, and we had Graham Swan. They were absolute guns. I mean, they were unplayable.
You're right.
Well played, mate.
It does. Maybe that's what the asterisk.
That's captaining 101, isn't it?
Great. Maybe that's what the asterisk was. I was actually going towards. I was actually going towards the mongoose discussion we're having here.
Yeah.
I typed in the Matthew Hayden mongoose. You spoke about how it died a few years ago. That you love innovating, and then you're obviously a legend at Chennai Super Kings. On their Twitter, there's a quote that MS Dhoni apparently said to you, "I'll give you anything you want in life to not use this bat. Please do not use this bat." Is that true? And what did he give you?
That's an absolute true story. It was in Delhi, and I mean, as Gilly will tell you, that's like a red rag to a bull. So smashing 90 at the end of that game was very important for me to stay in the team, I would have thought, and to stay in favour with MS Dhoni, but also to justify the fact that innovation does work. But yeah, well, I wonder what anything was too, by the way.
Yeah.
Like I can think of brand new boats. I can think of. I should have stopped right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Accepted the offer.
Riviera down the Gold Coast would be just perfect, I would have thought.
Absolutely. Now, Haydos, I obviously do extensive research on our guests, www.wikipedia.org. There's a great story here. I had heard it in the past, but Ollie had never heard it. We obviously now have an audience that's across the globe. The story of you and Andrew Symonds capsizing a boat and then having to swim. Are you able to tell us that story quickly?
It's a long story, but the short of it is that we were in deep trouble in the middle of the night, in the middle of a bar, and 3 waves hit us, and we were in the middle of the plonk and swimming for our lives. That's the very end. We had another young journo with us as well, who we didn't know. He started off swimming like Kieran Perkins, and after about 20 minutes, he went, "I'm done." And I said, "Mate, you're done, all right. It's not even light yet. You better start swimming, champ. Otherwise, it's shark bait for you." Ooh, aha. So,
That's a reference speech.
Finding Nemo.
He had these big Mambo trousers on. And I said, "Mate, they got to come off." And I said to Simo, "Bud, we might have to knock him out here, because if he starts to panic, this is going to be trouble for you and I. So just on my call, we might have to go hard here." And he went, as Simo would say, he went, "Roger." So he got undressed. We kept swimming another probably 40 minutes. We ended up having to save his life at the outer bank. He got swallowed by a 3-metre swell. So we flanked him either side and dragged him in. And that's the story.
Wow.
We were just very lucky. I mean, so many people die at that exact spot. And we probably made a poor decision as well, not only to go out, but also maybe just to leave the boat. I mean, at least we were together. That was our saving grace. Simo was a good swimmer, ironically, in spite of his incredibly slim calves and zero fat content. He could get up the boat.
There you go. That's the story. So, had you heard that one, Vaughany?
No, not heard that one.
You thought you'd got away with it unscathed, but there was a journo on the beach or something, wasn't there? I remember.
No. Channel 7 choppers were running overhead towards the end of our swim. That's how fast the word got out.
Yeah, it got out, didn't
Because
it?
everyone knew that we were there, Gil. Like, it's a typical small town, in Amity Point. Everyone knows our car. Everyone knew our trailer, our boat. We weren't making a secret to go out fishing. It was Christmas and it was time to fish. So at that point, by the time they realised, one of the local fishermen that was going out, he'd realised a boat was uprooted and its nose was pointing up, just bobbing along. At that point, he then rang Coast Guard. Coast Guard would have had a connection to Channel 7 News. That would have been said, well, Simo and Haydos are in the bar somewhere, and then it just got out, yeah.
Imagine if that happened in this day and age. That would have been live TV, O.J. Simpson style.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because at Christmas, you get a pilchard run. I mean, a bit like you guys get over in Perth. And what I didn't tell Simo and or the young journo is that we were actually swimming through piles when the light finally came up. We were swimming through piles of pilchards.
And what eats
Which
pilchards?
may have actually been a good thing, because rather eating pilchards than our legs.
Amazing story. Now,
Very truncated version, as I said.
Yeah.
But
no, just unbelievable. Now, obviously, massive. We are on the eve of a massive Test series. India. Oh, sorry. There is also England, New Zealand. Is it?
Yeah, that's correct.
That's taking
Professor,
place.
yeah.
Oh, and there's some games now. England just won, and
England just won
2 minutes
3-0,
ago.
yeah.
Okay, terrific. Anyway, India will take on Australia very shortly. It is only 7 days to that, Haydos. It would be remiss of me not to ask for a prediction. We had, Gilly, your prediction was 3-1.
I've thrown a few different predictions around.
Yeah,
I
what
think
was
I
the
went
latest
3-1
one?
on the podcast. I think
Yes.
last night on air I went 3-2.
Okay.
But I went with Australia on both. Yeah.
3-2.
And Vaughany, you picked the Aussies as well.
I've gone 3-1 or 4-0 to Australia, yeah.
Okay. Haydos, what would you
yeah, I think Australia are going to win 3-1. Sydney is always a bit of a worry, I think, with their 2 world-class spinners. But otherwise, I just feel... I've got to say, I feel really vulnerable as an Australian supporter. I'm not certain that how we're going to react as a unit. There's been a lot of change. Davey Warner, he was a once-in-a-lifetime athlete and hard to replace. And in spite of his kind of last 12 months, there was just so much go forward with him on so many different levels in the team. So he's a very hard person to replace. And we've suddenly got some unknowns. We've got Nathan, who's an unknown in the side, I really hope that he does well. I think he's a great kid and he's a well-organised player, but it's test match cricket. And we all know that, it's a savage place to an environment to, especially against a world-class team. The leading side, probably for this generation, in essence, certainly the Test Championship, if you believe that the rankings are what they are, they've been there at the top for a long time. Then you've got some of the sort of speculative kind of form that you see, the fitness issues with Cam Green. Will Mitch be able to really handle the workload? Who's going to compensate if he can't with bowling efforts? Travis Head, as exciting as a player as he is, we all sit on the edge of our seats and the television comes on because we just love watching that type of player play. But it's not a consistent, lock it in, he's going to be our superstar. Marnus's form is concerning across all formats, but in particular, the longer version of the game where I feel like he's starting to make adjustments within his play towards the short game. It's that lure, that you kind of get strung into and you want to taste it and feel the boundary, and that's probably not, necessarily what his strengths are. So there's lots of questions. To me, if you look at it really simply, I would go, there are 4 people that are going to make a huge difference. There's going to be Smith's form, Kohli's form. There's going to be, I believe, Pat Cummins' captaincy and bowling form, and Jasprit Bumrah's form. Those 4 players are kind of going to hold the Border Gavaskar Trophy together, or they're going to split it up. Great series. So many questions. So much to delve into. It's awesome.
So did you give us a score then, Haydos?
3-1. Yeah, I'm with
That's right.
Vaughany. This is the second time, mate.
I know, crazy.
Yeah, we're going well here, Haydos. I'll buy you a beer in Brisbane, that lovely place.
What if we're right?
We don't get anything for
prize
it.
on this show or what?
No prize.
Well, Haydos, speaking of great series, we've got this one, and we've got some great friends at the Cricket Australia Travel Office who sponsor a segment where each week we get stories from the guys beside me, but also guests as well. And they've got packages and everything for this year, but also they're really focusing on the Ashes next year. cricket.com.au/travel is that, and they have got in touch to ask if you had any memories or a story in particular when England, as they will be next year, came over and toured during an Ashes series.
Yeah. I reckon I've probably got a few,
Yeah, beautiful.
We've mentioned Simo's name a few times during the show, and I always feel it's appropriate to mention Andrew Symonds when it comes to the long format of the game, because he had to really fight his way into that side, as gifted as an athlete as he was, and I think it's probably credit to him how he pursued it with vigour, and his comeback series of note, which was a comeback series for Australia of note after we got hammered by Vaughany's mob in 2005, was the Boxing Day Test match, and that Test match was special for Andrew because it was his maiden first-class 100 and 100 of note as well, if you remember. I think it was 156, Gilly.
Yeah, I think it was somewhere around there, yeah. Maiden Test century, not first class, but...
Yeah, maiden Test century, yeah.
Yeah, and you're out there
with
with him.
How much he wanted it, right? Like, he was desperate to wear the baggy green in spite of him being, just one of the greatest of all time, in the shorter formats of the game. Anyways, we got off to a pretty shaky start. You'll be able to see that on record there what Australia was up to when Andrew Symonds came to the crease and give us that detail.
Yeah.
But
84 for 5.
What were we?
84 for 5.
84 for 5. So, Vaughany, you were licking your choppers thinking that all your Christmases had come at once. You were up and about, gobbing off, and KP was standing at extra cover, which is strategically placed in the eye line as a right-hand batsman of Andrew Symonds. And he was going to school on his game, and rightfully so, because Simo, in his first 20 balls, was just abysmal. He just could not play bat on ball. He was petrified. He was, the G can be a lot, in spite of it having 90,000 people, can be the loneliest place on the planet. So Simo's got off to a real rusty start, and I go up to him and say, mate, what are you doing? He says, oh, bud, I can't get it off the square. I said, Simo, you're thinking way too much. Way too much. Just smash it. Anyway, Kevin Peterson sort of caught wind of the conversation and hopped into him. And Simo, as quick as a flash with his deadpan face, turned to him and said, mate, just because you've got tough stickers on your arm doesn't mean you're tough. Which just, you can imagine Kevin Peterson just absolutely squared up and floored him. And from that moment on, there was suddenly, it was just like the green light had gone on in the traffic light. And it was the most remarkable highlights package outside of a few that I've sat, Gil, at the other end of you, that I've seen in Test match cricket history. It was just something phenomenal, to ignite that passion under someone's bonnet, and to see him realise his dream, growing up in Charters Towers, a very small country town in Queensland, just having this volley of support always for Simo because of who he was as a person, and then to see him just and be at that stage of his career where, he launched up onto my shoulders and it cut my head. He's so heavy, it actually cut my head through the helmet. And to see him sort of both hands raised, that was remarkable. So it's probably my favourite Ashes story, and it's also my favourite sledge too.
I think you're spot on about Roy, that he was a bloke that everyone was just so happy for him whenever he did well, because that was the infectious nature of his character. Yeah, you got the bruised forehead from the celebration. You guys got us, what was it? 5 for 84. You put on 279. And then I came in and got knocked over for 1. So another fine Ashes contribution from me.
And also what I like on that, KP came on for an over after obviously giving that jab and went for 13. Symonds 4-4-6. I think 14 in the one over.
They were great days, weren't they? I mean, anyone that says that they don't miss the game of cricket I think is a lie, because it's such an infectious game. It's, when you think of those times, either on or off the field, and by that stage I reckon, Vaughany, Australia had kind of, I don't know, I just felt like we'd loosened our grip on the tension between England and Australia as well, and that was a good thing, and I believe the reason for that largely is because your fast bowling unit were irresistibly good blokes, and they were all proper together. When you think of Harmy and Freddie and Hoggy and Jonesy, I mean, they must have been a dream to captain, absolute dream to captain, because they had each other's backs, and you knew it when you're in a contest. Like previous years, when you'd start putting a few on the chin of bowlers from England, you'd see them go this way and that way, but that unit was very, very special.
Hey, Haydos, I must apologise to you, actually. Day 2 at Edgbaston, you strolled out to bat, and I got credited for tactical genius of putting Andrew Strauss at short extra cover to Matthew Hoggard, first ball of the morning. What you don't realise, Strauss was having a shit.
Yeah.
And he came on the pitch late, and rather than him run to the slip cord, and I just went, just stay at extra cover.
How much did that actually happen, Vaughny, that sort of stuff?
Lots. And everyone said, that's genius. He was just late from having a shit.
Well, Freddie tells, Freddie became my nemesis around the wicket. And, everyone, and even I thought tactical genius of Vaughan and Flintoff, the Brains Trust, got together, saw a weakness, and I talked to Freddie about it, and he says, bullshit, that started at Lords in the one-day series prior. I was bowling over the wicket to you, and there was a massive foothold that I kept rolling the ankle in. So I thought, stuff it, I'm going around the wicket, just to ease my ankles, really. And first ball, I chopped it on, and he went, that looks all right round there.
There wasn't a great deal of science with our thing today, I hate to tell you.
How many hours do you waste in listening to bowlers?
Some brilliant stories there. Thanks to Cato again. Remember, register for those travel packages. They include tickets, hotels, special events, and more.
Very, very good, Ollie. Fantastic stuff. Haydos, we have kept you a long time. There's one last thing we'd like you to do. Ollie is a bit of a quiz master on this show. He likes to write a few very cricket nerdy questions. And when we have a guest on, they are the subject of the quiz. Are you happy to quickly play this with us, Haydos?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Terrific. Ollie, over to you.
Yep. We have some fun this week. We haven't had a guest for a little bit, so it involves Gilly and Vaughany as well. And you'll all just answer and we'll see who wins. So, question number 1. What is higher? Vaughany's ODI top score, Gilly's test match strike rate, or Haydos's ODI sixes? So, Vaughany ODI score, Gilly's test match strike rate, Haydos's ODI sixes.
You going with your theory, Vaughany, here, that he always likes to look after
Well,
the guest?
I know 2 of those. I'm not too sure. But Haydos used to hit sixes for fun.
No, I don't reckon. I reckon one of you two will be higher there.
I'll give you a clue. It's not
I reckon
me.
I'm going with Vaughany.
No, I think you might be wrong there, Haydos.
I'm
going sixes. I'm going to go Haydos sixes.
I'm going, same, actually, I think.
Okay, Haydos and Haydos went to Vaughany.
Yeah.
We've got Vaughany's ODI top score of 90.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gilly's test match strike rate of 82.
What a battler.
Haydos.
We've already had extensive ODI Vaughan talk previously.
Haydos ODI 6 is 87, so it's Vaughany. Haydos still
he's
gets
got it
the
right.
point.
Hey.
Jeez. I thought your strike rate was 97.
Not
One
tests.
dayers.
Oh, one days. I knew it's. Yeah, we did it last week.
Sorry, what was Gilly's strike rate in one-day cricket?
No, it was test
there was a
82.
one.
Oh, test cricket.
Yeah.
Yeah, ODI.
97 in one-day cricket.
Yeah, I mixed that up. Question 1 point for Haydos. Question number 2.
Jeez.
What is higher, Gilly's list A runs or Haydos's list A runs?
No, mine.
Haydos.
List
Yeah.
A.
List
Yeah,
A.
List Days County
Yeah.
Championship as well, yeah?
Well, not championship, but
No?
domestic.
It took me
like
forever to
50
get into
over.
the testing.
Oh, 50 over cricket.
I swear we had the same list day debate.
Yeah, every
Yeah,
time.
every
yeah.
time.
All right, so
Yeah.
your List Days a bit
Yeah,
different,
just qualify again. What is it? List A? Because I'm always confused. with this.
Like domestic one-day competitions.
Oh,
Yeah.
Haydos, yeah.
I'm a mile, I reckon, here.
And
Yeah.
ODIs. Okay, we've got
They're
Gilly.
always close.
11,326 for Gilly.
Mm.
It must include one-day international.
It does include one-day internationals as well.
Oh,
yeah.
right. Oh, that's
Jesus
that's
Christ.
that's-
List
we need
Days.
to clarify.
It does. It's just.
Anyway, Haydos 12,000.
Okay,
50
well
more.
done.
So a few more.
Everybody got it right.
But it does.
so I'll go Haydos.
Gilly, you played what? You would have played 270 odd one days.
Yeah.
And I was 150 odd, I reckon.
Yeah, 160.
Yeah.
There you go. So everyone got a point there. Number 3, what is higher? Haydos's T20 international runs, Gilly's T20 international runs, or Vaughany's T20 runs?
I reckon.
I
I
don't think
reckon.
you played
I reckon
many.
Haydos. I reckon Haydos gets this.
Okay.
I reckon it's me.
T20 international.
T20. Oh, hang on, Vaughany.
Nah, I'm
just
going-
clarify.
I'm
Well-
going Vaughany.
Yeah.
Yeah, what clubs did you play in T20?
I didn't play for any club, just the mighty Yorkshire Haydos.
Yeah, how many games?
I can't really tell you that because that gives away the question.
What? I'm going to go Vaughany again.
Yeah, Vaughany.
Seems like the choice. He seems
Although
like
I was the first one.
No, you were
can't-
last.
You can't.
No,
No,
I'm
no,
not
it's
changing.
Like,
Yeah.
You can't.
So you've all gone Vaughany.
Yeah.
Haydos got 308 T20 international runs. Gilly,
Yeah.
272.
Jeez, we tore it up, didn't we?
319.
Hey.
So I won
You have 11 runs more.
for the mighty Yorkies.
Hey, hang on. How many games did Vaughany play versus how many games did we play internationally then? 'Cause I don't
Okay,
reckon we
so
played more than
Vaughany
10 games.
had 18 innings in T20 cricket,
Yeah.
an average of 18.
Strike rate of
no.
what? 274?
Strike rate of 112.
That's all right. Then.
No.
Yeah, and he
You
hit
get
Very
on with it,
good.
Vaughany.
he hit 5 sixes in there
There
as
you
well.
go.
I did.
Thank
I
you.
did.
Top edges were there?
Haydos had half as many as that, 9 innings, and 13 sixes in the time, an average of 51 at T20 internationals. Yeah, and Gilly an average of 22 in 13 innings.
How many
with also
sixes for the
13
girl?
sixes as
13
well.
sixes, Gil
There you
Church.
go.
We didn't want it enough, did we, Gilly?
No.
I reckon that was another regret in our international T20 career. I just don't reckon we had an attitude that was willing to embrace the game at that point.
Well, it was tough. That first World Cup in 2007, I think.
7, yeah.
Of the T20s.
South Africa.
It was
Yeah.
hard to perform in those outfits that we were wearing. We were basically wearing a lycra top with a singlet over the top, and that didn't really suit
they were
my
quite
physique.
hipply, weren't they?
Yeah, but remember the T20 at the SCG? Did you play?
Yeah, that was. I was captain. Yeah, I think he scored 220.
Yeah,
It was a close game.
that's when I was mic'd up and Jimmy was running in, and I was talking to the commentary box. But after that night, packed house. So this is 2007, and I remember Haydos after that game, you saying to me, "T20 is the future," and I thought you were on drugs. I thought you are kidding, mate. This is Mickey Mouse cricket. There is no future in this
Like the
whatsoever.
wicket keeping idea.
Yeah.
I was just saying.
Yeah, it was close. Australia 221 for 5, England 144 for 9. Just ran out of time. You got 27 off 21 balls. Not bad. LB to Symonds, and then Gilly opened with Matty Hayden, 48 off 29. Clean bowl by Monty again. He's got
I was trying to hit him
funny,
over the roof.
absolutely funny. 5 6s. Haydos 20 off 8 balls.
Yeah.
Jamie Dalrymple taking the catch.
But I
there.
just
The Dalrymple
taking
played
the
did
catch.
it.
The Jamie Dalrymple, yeah.
big time.
Big time.
Yeah, but how good. You can make impact on 8 balls.
There you go.
Hello.
Yeah.
Then you're drinking lattes for the rest of the evening.
So we've got Haydos and 3 points. These
Yes,
2 points.
3-2.
Right.
Lovely. Number 4. What's higher, Vaughany's test runs or Haydos' ODI runs?
So
150
Vaughany
games.
test runs, Haydos ODI.
So he got 12,000 list A runs, which included.
I'm going to go.
I'm going Haydos.
I'll go Vaughan.
I reckon it's pretty close, Vaughany. I'm going to go. What do I get? 7 or 8,000 runs, didn't I? In 150 games. Vaughany. I'm going to go you.
Okay. We've got Vaughany 5,719 test runs, Haydos 6,133.
Yes, that's me. Have I won that
So,
quiz
for-
again, Pro?
No,
No,
you
got
tied
one
for the
to
last.
go. We've
Really?
got-
Tied with Haydos.
Tied with
for the
Haydos.
last.
Is-
Yeah.
Have you got?
Got a 5th and final one. What is higher?
Oh gosh.
Gilly's centuries in Australia, Vaughany's centuries against Australia and India combined,
Oh, wow.
or Haydos' centuries against India?
Oh, Haydos used to get
So
one a game.
Gilly's centuries in this country for this series, Haydos against India for this series, and Vaughany's centuries against both combined.
Sorry, for this series, meaning
mean?
against
As in
India
the
in
series,
Australia.
that's the conversation, just Australia and India. That's why it's relevant.
right.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
So
I'm going to go
Haydos centuries against India.
Haydos. Yeah.
I don't know if I got that many. How many centuries Gilly get? You would have got
In all.
12 or 13 centuries in all, Gilly, in Australia. Or is that in all?
Test centuries.
Test century.
I reckon. I don't know. 9 or 10 at home.
Yeah.
Did some fine work away. I reckon Vaughan on this one. You belted us around in 02,
You're
03.
going Vaughan, you're going Haydos.
Yeah, I'll
Haydos.
go on Vaughan. I'm going
Smacked
Vaughan as
India
well.
around a couple of times.
You're going Vaughan,
didn't you?
Okay, we've
Yeah.
got
Home, yeah.
Yeah, Vaughan.
Haydos centuries against India 6, an average of about 70 from when I looked. Gilly centuries in Oz 7, Vaughany 8 centuries
Yes,
against Oz and India
still.
combined.
Yeah.
You had, yeah.
You got
So-
3.
Haydos gets the
I'll
win.
win then.
Wow.
You did.
Yep.
That's brought your
Congratulations.
run to an end. You'd won a
Nice.
few quizzes in a row there. Congratulations, Matt Hayden.
Clearly,
Well,
I thought
Haydos.
I did better at home in Australia, didn't I?
You did much better away, is what we've learned.
Very, very good. Hey, folks, that's the end of the podcast, believe it or not. Matt Hayden,
Oh,
thank you so much for dialing
Yeah.
in. That was an absolute
Yeah.
delight.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, boys. Looking
Cheers,
forward to
Dolph.
some. Should be a cracker.
Yeah.
Just got a cheers.
I'm just doing a little toast here, Haydos. It's
Yes.
tradition on the show. A little
Right.
prairie fire to finish off. And
This was a very good. I mean, you've obviously told the story, but this was a very big part of this beautiful little cricket reunion group that we've got. And happy birthday, Gilks, for yesterday as
yeah,
well,
cheers,
buddy.
mate. Thank you.
But yeah, this little toast here that somehow finds its way across different parts of the world because we're often travelling
I think we know how.
at very different time zones. But there's a deep affection for our cricket community. And, mate, this is a great little custom that we've got.
Yeah.
So thank.
Yeah.
So go for it.
Nah, beautifully said, and well, it's only appropriate that we spoke about him a lot. We'll do. It's never too often you can say cheers to Roy.
Yeah,
So,
Roy.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Oh, Jesus. What is this stuff?
Oh,
Wow.
damn, that looks good.
Yes.
What is it? Go get yourself one.
It is good.
You can find us at Club Prairie Fire on everything, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family. And we are back when, gents? What's
Tuesday with a special guest, I think, potentially.
Who you got?
We got a very
Well, I don't want to say it in case they cancel.
No,
We'll
We've
tell you
overpromoted a
Haydos.
few
Wait
times.
sec.
We sometimes shoot our bolt a bit early with our announcements with guest Haydos.
But they may or may not have played for India a lot.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Hey,
okay.
Dos.
I'll-
Hey, thanks for coming on, big man. Love you.
Pleasure. Look forward to the summer, mate. See you.
See you in Perth.
Adios.
Yeah.
So, and that's us. Bye as well.
that us?
That's
Yeah.
us.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Cheers. Bye.
See ya.
Yeah, g'day. Hope you enjoyed that vid. If you did, please click like somewhere there, and then make sure you click subscribe as well. There's lots more vids on this channel. Tell your friends, tell your parents, and we'll chat to you soon.